Hello everyone, it's me, Emma, the heavy metal lawyer, back again. It's the best metal of 2021, my countdown of the 50 best metal albums of the year. We are up to number 15. Make sure to check out the previous videos and make sure to support all of the bands that I'm talking about. 2021 has been a hard year for musicians. They need your support. Throw them a few dollars if you can. And without further ado, let's get started. At number 15, we have Erkylän Yllä by Havukruunu. Finnish is a very difficult language for my English-speaking self to pronounce. Anyways, Havukruunu, which means conifer in Finnish, are a Norse black metal band that has been putting out some good albums for the last 5 years, but really blew up last year with, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of this album. Yeah, just look it up. Havukruunu goes right up to the line of approaching Viking metal with their pagan sound replete with chants, manly choral singing, epic riffs, and driving rhythms. If you threw a fiddle in there, it would probably be straight up Viking metal. But remarkably, unlike Viking metal, which I do unabashedly like, but I'll readily admit it can be pretty corny, Havukruunu are extremely dark and harsh. We aren't talking a dash of black metal or some kind of blackened sound. This is straight up blast beats and tremolo picking, classic 90s Scandinavian black metal sound. In Erkylän Yllä, the band is not quite as epic as they were in the 2020 album, instead moving more towards the dark and a phantasmic atmosphere, as well represented by this EP's album cover. Which isn't to say that the charging rhythms and epic riffs have been abandoned. No, you'll still find plenty of those on this album, especially on the first and title track, Erkylän Yllä. The album peaks, however, in the middle with what is probably my favorite Havukruunu track yet, Ruutin Pansari. The track is Havukruunu at its best, raw black metal that burns like frostbite interspersed with heroic battle cry singing and driving lead guitar riffs. But then all of a sudden, everything goes quiet, save some ambient sounds of what sounds like a door opening or something like that. And then the guitar comes back in with this riff that in timbre is very much that pagan black metal sound, but it has some serious groove to it. You know, it's a da na 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 na, and that groove is kicked up to 11 when the bass and drum join in. Possibly the most headbangable track of the year. This is something I've never heard from this band before. I even went back and listened to their whole discography all the way through and didn't catch anything like it. So I'm really hoping they incorporate more of this new development of their sound into the next album. Excuse me. Into their next album. And at number 14, we have 21 by Succumb. Dreary, desolate, hopeless death metal. What a recommendation, I know. But if you really want a death metal album that basically does for the genre what depressive, suicidal black metal does for black metal, this is the album for you. The key is the combination of chaos, plaintive melodies, mostly from the guitar, and haunting vocals. And the instrumental through line of the album is a chaos, a whirlwind of some of the craziest guitar playing this year and wall of sound blast beats. This is definitely a guitarist death metal album. Derek Webster is just a joy to listen to. But even if you're not a guitar player, there's still plenty to enjoy, especially from vocalist Cherry's unique approach to death metal vocals. Rather than the typical growls or screams, these are these wretched moaning that sounds like it was coming from an abyss rather than a person. Though if you do like those growls and screams, don't worry, the bassist Kirk does provide those on some of the tracks. This is one of the best death metal albums of the year and one of the most innovative, so if you're getting a little bit tired of the same old revamping of old school death metal, this is the album for you. At number 13, we have Bird by Sete. The two-piece self-described nutscore, an ultra-noisy but somehow also pared-down version of grindcore with just bass, drum, and vocals. Set have made a bajillion records, and I pretty much like all of them. But even I was caught off guard by just how good this one was. The noisier side of grindcore, punk, and extreme metal can sometimes get sidelined as gimmicky. And to be fair, the one Set record I own on vinyl is their split with Penis Geyser. Yes, you heard that right, Penis Geyser. But Set aren't just spewing out random noise for 9 minutes and then calling it a day. This is a veteran effort. These songs are about as polished as you can get when it comes to something like noisecore. It's, not a single bit of feedback or screech is out of place. It's so tightly honed down that 9 minutes is not at all filler. It flies by and leaves you wanting a lot more, but at the same time, it's the perfect length for this album. Check it out. And at number 12, we have Gun by Ingrown. I'll never forget watching the music video for the song Waste on YouTube, being totally blown away by it, and looking at the first comment which said something along the lines of white boy hardcore summer. As someone noted in the reply, it's kind of weird to make a big deal out of the whiteness of a band from Ohio, which is 90% white. But anyways, enough internet silliness. Ingrown blew up this year due in no small part to that aforementioned music video with its guns, motorcycles, Idaho flag waving, and gut-punching, muscle-bound, grindcore-influenced hardcore. But don't mistake that gruff, tough guy sound with stupidity. This band's smarts shine through in their album craft, outdoing colleagues like Nails in terms of the album flowing from beginning to end. That's just my opinion, but Nails' albums always run out of steam for me about 5 songs in. Anyways, I think what carries Ingrown forward and what sets them apart from their peers is their tactful use of mosh pit-friendly grooves and key tracks evenly spaced throughout the album to break up the barrage of blast beats and squealing noise. Waste is the first such track to feature one of these grooves, which vocalist Calvin Hansen screams over, "Fucking waste away," a sentiment I think we can all appreciate as our American empire goes from slow decay into free fall collapse. But my favorite track of the record is Hard Time, which, holy shit, what a stomping fuck shit up groove this one begins with. Have palm muted guitars ever sounded this heavy? Please don't tell me in the comments of another example of palm muted guitar sounding even heavier. I don't care. This track also has the best example of how much the guitar leads add to this album. The squealing guitar leads in hardcore can come off as corny or out of place, but the discordant and menacing way these leads rise above the chaos of the music make them sound like the Grim Reaper floating over a battlefield. And at number 11, we have A Tear in the Fabric of Life by Knocked Loose. Knocked Loose came back this year not only with the new music in this EP, but also with a 21-minute-long animated music video for it. The band is hardly new to using videos to complement their music. After all, the music video for Mistakes Like Fractures has become the visualization of the band for most people. But this very artsy, horror-themed, long video is far more ambitious. It's a fascinating, disorienting, seizure-inducing watch. Don't ask me what it's about because I still have no idea, but it sure was interesting to watch. The music is even more patient and heavy than Different Shades of Blue. The shorter length necessarily makes the sound less diverse than that album, but not by a lot. There's a lot crammed into the 21 minutes of this EP. And the band seems to be continuing the thematic unity we saw in Blue, with a tear in the fabric of life revolving around one central concept: death. That concept is illustrated in a variety of ways, from literal description in the case of the closer Permanent, to evoking the feeling of fading away as the band does on God Knows. And unfortunately, they stripped that song of the Beach Boys sample, which is a total bummer because it worked super well. And it's totally silly. No one is listening to that thinking they're trying to steal the Beach Boys song. It was clearly an homage. But unfortunately, record companies are assholes. Those who love the death metal influence on Different Shades of Blue might be a bit disappointed with this one, taking a step away from that direction and back towards metalcore. But if you like the heaviness of that death metal influence, don't worry, because this EP is plenty heavy. It's also a lot noisier and more chaotic, which makes it all the more impressive that the band manages to cohere it around a central theme. Alright, that's it for 15 through 11. 2 more videos left, the top 10 coming your way before Krampus comes to spank you for being naughty for Christmas. Stay tuned.